It's January the 17th, 2015. I can talk a little bit better, and so we'll try a little longer video. Japan had a 9.0 earthquake, and a tsunami washed out several hundred kilometers of the coastline, and the nuclear power plant was inundated with water, and that took away all the infrastructure. Building 1. Now, all the models that you see are based upon this one unit, Unit 1 reactor. Unit 2 was the same thing, 100% meltdown as Unit 1. And the inventory, the fuel pools, where they put the cores after they're used to cool down for several years, is the story you're told. But a lot of these pools have inventory that are several decades old. This is Unit 3, and that is missing. And the reactor is missing. The fuel pools are missing. The building itself is 10 stories. It's missing. And so that's a big fable, like number 4. And all of these buildings, and I mean, look at this building. That's number 4. That's number 4. So you got number 4. These all exploded. These buildings. I'm on the boat in Prince Rupert, British Columbia, so if you're hearing some noises, there's no way to avoid it. And so Unit 4, 3, 2, and Unit 1 all melted down. Now, the models are only based upon single releases from that Unit 1 reactor. They don't include the ongoing releases from that one reactor or the missing spent fuel pools, which are the cores that were used previously, are all missing. They don't include any of that. And they don't include Unit 2, 3, and 4 like I just showed you, or any of its ongoing and constant releases. They're all meltdowns and melt-throughs. And so the models that you're fed, if you get any, you're lucky to see any at all, like the models I'm showing you, are based upon single releases from single reactor, not all the reactors that I just showed you. And they're only based upon a couple of elements. This one is cesium-137, which is 100 times more strontium-90, and extremely bad stuff. And they show iodine in this model, but they don't show all the other iodines. There was 10 times more iodine-132. There was 30 times more iodine-133. 31 times more iodine-129 with 150 million year lifespan. So till the end of time. But should they just show you 2 elements of the 2,000 possible elements that are created elements? And there's only 260 natural ones on the planet, but we've created several thousand. And this is just 2 of them. And it doesn't, once again, it does not include the releases ongoing from just this reactor. The release is just for a couple of days from that reactor, reactor 1. It doesn't include the missing spent fuel pool you see right there. It doesn't include the fires that it had and ongoing. It doesn't include Unit 2 at all, the 100% meltdown. It doesn't include that. The ongoing releases doesn't include the original releases in that model that I was just showing you. That was NOAA. And this is just, what you're looking at is an insignificant amount compared to, it's significant. That's enough atoms to kill every animal on the planet over the next decade. It doesn't include anything from this reactor. It does not include the missing spent fuel pools that were detonated, caught fire, and blew up and spread all over the site and releasing neutrons, X-rays, and splitting atoms. My lips are split from that fall on the boat. And it doesn't look, the fuel core was ejected. Now, I know a lot of people got a hard time wrapping their mind around that. And let me see. Let me come back here for 1 second. Just stay with me. Reactor 5 and 6 to the cores. Let's go to the cores ejected. The fuel rods were shattered during the hydrogen explosion. Does anybody doubt that the fuel rods were shattered and that they were atomized and aerosoled? So saying they were shattered is just alluding to it. Japan races to contain the meltdowns after 2 blasts and the 3rd reactor losing cooling capacity 2 days after. But that's not in the models that I'm showing you. That's not in that model. Make that bigger. Right, that model that you're looking at is only based up on a single release from the Unit 1 reactor, and it's not based up on the constant release from that reactor either, and it's not based up on the other reactors. So just let that continue to play in the background so when I pop it up. And there's got to be fission products or pellets in the park lot outside the plant. Well, yeah, the building's detonated, right? Unit 3 and Unit 4, they detonated. Their inventory was spread all over the place, but it also caught fire. It also atomized. It also aerosoled. It also is a constant release into the ocean and the atmosphere that's still ongoing, that is not in this model. They never did. All they put in that model is just a couple of days releases from Unit 1 reactor. How come they never put this one in there? Look how mad and crazy that is. But it gets even worse. That's Unit 5 and 6. And I can touch up on that in a minute. But that salt water they sprayed on it created these peroxide enhanced nuclear buckyballs that you're looking at, those little balls. And they were able to ingest radioactive elements and particles and atoms, and they're like little nuclear engines. They're not soluble in water, and they're transported very easily in the Trans-Pacific streams right across North America and Canada. Unit 4, look at it. Now what they done was they tore that roof off. See that? It's all gone. Let's have another look at the building. So right across here is where they tore it all off. So everything up there is missing. That's where all the spent fuel pools were to. And that's the homeless getting their x-rays and neutrons. They're dead by now. And so you can see, look, the bottom part of the building, that's all that's left. They tore it all up. That building that they built up, the structure, does not support this building. They call it a support in the context that they're going to put a crane in there and reach down, but the building doesn't actually touch it. It doesn't support each other's structure. They're not tied together. They actually don't touch them. And they're saying they're going to take out the fuel pool, but the fuel pool is on the roof, and it's missing. And so how can you take the fuel pool out when you tore everything off, the fuel pool off the roof that wasn't there in the first place with cranes? So all the media is showing you pictures to your left there of this fuel pool. And if that fuel pool existed, why did they build that structure inside of that? Why put that structure inside of that if it looks like that? If it looks like that on the inside, if the roof really did look like that, if it looked like that on the left, you know, why would you build that structure if it looks so nice on the inside? What was the issue? No issue, see? So it's a fable to keep you distracted. That can't be real. When you look at the buildings side by side, one, you know, they're the official pictures. The official pictures. E equals mc squared. See, that's another life for you. The elements created by the sun are 260 plus. Around 260 elements created by the sun. We've created several thousand elements, and they're not created by the sun. They're called man-made elements, like cesium and iodines and strontiums. They're man-made. And the uranium, plutonium is man-made. Uranium, it was refined and then put through a chain reaction. Now it's man-made, and it's 2 million times worse than what it was originally. And originally it was very dangerous when it was refined. It's hard to talk. So they want you to think that it's like potatoes, and they tell you that over and over and over for decades, but it's not. Potatoes are homeostasis. Your body regulates it. It can't harm you. They want to tell you it's like bananas, but it's not. It's got nothing to do with bananas. Bananas are good for you. If you had a man-made element in that banana, that you know, that would be dangerous. Now you're looking at cancer several years down the road after ingesting the man-made element. But you can eat all the bananas, you're not going to get cancer. You can swim with bananas. You can live with bananas. But if you have a piece of fuel rod the size of that, one of those bananas, it will kill you if you're that close to it. It will kill you right on the spot. within a few minutes if you're that close to it. It's not like the radiation you're drinking water. That's natural stuff. Everything on the planet is acclimated to it. It's not like the radiation that's in the rock. This is natural. Everything on the planet is acclimated through its genetic superior selection over millenniums. And so we're all used to that because that's our DNA is made up of this stuff. It's not like walking in the sunshine. That's got nothing to do with a chain reaction from a nuclear reactor, but they tell you that all the time. Walking in sunshine and dental x-rays, you turn the x-ray off, then you go home. But if you ingest the particles inside of you, giving you x-rays every moment of your life. They tell you it's like walking, it's like the sunshine. You can't go out with your Geiger counter and pick up the radiation coming out of the sun. The Geiger counter is meant to pick up man-made radiation. The Geiger counter is not going to pick up the stuff in your food. And like on a plane, if you find radiation, when you get on a plane with a Geiger counter, any radiation on it is man-made that you see on that Geiger counter. Geiger counter can't pick up the natural radiation. So it's a big fable that you get more radiation as you fly up, and it's provable by using a Geiger counter because a Geiger counter doesn't work that way. It's the stupidest thing imaginable. A Geiger counter can't pick up the radiation in your food because it's potassium-40. It's normal. It's insignificant everyday background radiation. It can't hurt you. But if your Geiger counter did pick up that Geiger counter, and they show you that all the time, try to say that radiation is everywhere, yes, if it shows up there, that's man-made, and it probably will, and it probably did, and it probably will continue to do till the end of time now. Not probably, but it will, because of Fukushima. You can't stop Fukushima. The ocean currents are actually real. I know that's hard to wrap your mind around it, but the ocean currents really, truly are real. And less than 50 days, at 5 miles an hour, it's going to cross your ocean. 5 miles an hour times 24 hours a day times 45 days. It's actually right on your coastline. Now the rain will pick it up and bring it in tens of thousands of miles of clouds every day, pick up rain and moisture and evaporation and convection and bring it into your coastline and deposit it. And then everything on the west side of the Rockies washes back to the coastline. Everything on the east side of the Rockies go towards the Atlantic and the Gulf. And so you get double whammed. Now the jet streams are real. I mean, hang on a second. I mean, that's real. That's NOAA's model based upon 2 elements from a single reactor, not the other reactors. I'm doing the Expedition for Life up the coastline of British Columbia. And I'm on a boat right now, sitting at the wharf. That's a few days back on the anchor, and we had storm force winds last night, and I'm sitting here on the boat with enough fuel to go 500 kilometers, 300 miles, 230 nautical miles, whatever way you want to look at it. And I'm in the Zodiac. I'm just coming back to the boat, and I snapped that little picture. I would like to say to you that, as usual, you got to take it into consideration how much radiation is being released and the vectors that it's being released through. The stuff that's going into the ocean, these models, based on 10 years, 2.5 years, look at it. Now, Japan done studies where they showed that it traveled 1,500 miles a month in the ocean, which is about right. The ocean currents are actually real. Now, these models are not based upon constant releases or ongoing releases or all the releases from just the 4 reactors in a couple of days. It's based upon a single reactor like all the other models over a couple of days in Unit 1. And they don't bother showing people Unit 3. For some reason, Unit 3 is